Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Life After Sunday, the midweek Mike. This is episode 19.
Yes.
And today we're going to talk about forgiveness versus unforgiveness.
Yeah.
And apparently, it is an important topic right now. I just went to the Women's She Is conference at Summit Church in Indiana, PA, over the weekend. And the first night, the message was on forgiveness. And then Sunday in church, Jim had the same, not the same, but the same topic of a message. And I was like, apparently, forgiveness is something that I need to think about right now. So,
Yeah, I think a lot of people do, and me included, as I've been in kind of like a study of obedience, like just being obedient to God and what that means, how does
mhm,
it look, all that. But then kind of in the back of my mind has been forgiveness.
yeah.
So
So I think it's just a important word for the church right now. Like it's something God's kind of honing in on and something we need to search our hearts about. But
yeah. So can you give us like an idea of forgiveness? Like what's it look like?
what does forgiveness look like?
Like what do you mean? Like I
Like,
know people are able to be like, we have our kids, okay? So one slaps one upside the head, and because they got caught, and a way of getting a less severe punishment is we say sorry. We get the sorry.
yeah.
You have those people who would maybe say that's an accepted forgiveness.
Well,
So
it's
what?
a heated thing. I think what's hard about it is because sometimes you don't get an apology or you get an apology that's not sincere.
Hmm.
Maybe the person who harmed you doesn't know that they did wrong or doesn't care that they did wrong. But then here you are, the one carrying the majority of the hurt from that situation. And
So
that's what's hard.
the topic more is about us forgiving people
It's something you have to do,
and not, you
and it's
know,
not related necessarily to them
yeah.
or what
And
they've
it's not
done.
like we're saying you should forgive somebody if you've hurt them. It's not what we're really discussing today. It's you should forgive those who've hurt
You're the
you.
receiver of the hurt
Yeah.
and you should forgive.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's
And
an
it's hard.
upside down,
It's hard for many reasons.
it's the upside down world of Bible,
Yeah.
of God's kingdom.
Mm.
Just you
It's hard, is all I'm saying.
know, punch me over that.
Because sometimes you feel justified
Yes.
in your hurt and you almost want to like punish the person in your head. So you hold on to that. But then they're walking over there not even knowing that you're hurt or not affected by what they've done. So it's really only harming you.
I think too, it's because we live in a world that's, you can be easily offended as well.
Yeah.
So I can
Yeah.
be easily hurt and the person doesn't even know that they hurt me. Like
Right.
I know a ton
Like you
of
took
people
something the wrong way.
who can take things the wrong way or be
Yes.
offended and then they hold on to that.
Yeah.
So, why? Why
Yeah.
should they forgive somebody and not seek the vengeance that they're looking for?
The Bible tells us what to
Oh,
do.
no, why?
Yeah. So
You gonna tell me where?
if in Matthew 6, so that's where the Lord's Prayer is. And then so in the Lord's Prayer, in the middle of it, it says, "Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us." Everyone knows that line. But then also verse 14, right after the prayer finishes, it says, "If you forgive those who sin against you, your heavenly Father will forgive you. But if you refuse to forgive others, your Father will not forgive your sins."
Right.
And that one's like punch in the gut. And when I think of it, because it makes sense, you're like, I'm justified in being angry. I don't want to forgive this person. Don't you think Christ was justified in being unforgiving as he hung on
Right.
the cross for our sins?
So it points back to the parable about the very wealthy man who there was a man who had a debt to pay
Yeah.
and he needed to pay a very, very wealthy man. And the wealthy man decided, yeah, you don't need to pay it. You're free to go. And then he turns around and he goes to
Hmm.
somebody who owes him a debt. And the man who just let the guy off the hook is like, what
Yeah.
are you doing?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like us. Like, God has forgiven us for everything that we have done in our lives or will do. He has forgiven that, and we can't forgive somebody who has offended us
Right.
here on earth. And it's not always these simple, easy
No.
offenses that we go through. I mean, of course, we have them in our marriage, we have them in our relationships with our children, we have them in every relationship we have where we have to forgive somebody. And I think sometimes they can be easy.
Yeah. There's smaller things that are easier to overcome.
Yeah.
But then there's, bigger things.
The much bigger things. And if we don't let go of if we don't let go of the offense or the hurt, and we don't allow forgiveness to come in, then we hold on to bitterness, we
Mhm.
hold on to resentment, we hold on to just this hurt
Yeah.
that festers,
Mhm.
and it becomes like a cancerous sore
Yeah.
that takes over our heart and our mind, and then we become callous to people.
Yeah. And Jim said that, like, holding on to that is, how it says, don't give the enemy a foothold. Like, that is giving him access to you and letting him, into your mind and into your heart and letting him have power to wreak havoc over you.
Yeah.
Like you're opening the door to him basically because you're harboring those thoughts and those feelings.
And it's so easy because we do feel justified,
Right.
because we live in a world where an
We like
action needs a
revenge. Yeah.
consequence
Yeah.
from us, and it
Mhm.
needs to be swiftly, and it needs to be the way that we think it needs.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's just not always the case.
And you think like life's not fair,
Mhm.
but honestly it's like thank goodness because we should have been on the cross then, if life was fair.
Yeah.
So when you think about it in the terms of the cross, you're like how do I have reason to not forgive when I'm forgiven everything?
Yeah.
You know?
So I think what kind of hit me with this message wasn't the talk of forgiveness. And I felt this way. I think you and I took a class or something through life. And I think I like felt it then, oh, to forgive.
Mhm.
I think we were supposed to look back and think of things that we, feel like we need to forgive and to let them go. And like lying to myself, I think I was like, yeah, I have I have nothing that I'm holding against. I forgive anybody for anything. Like, I'm one of those people who, if you hurt me or cross me, I'm not like holding a huge grudge. I'll help you with anything. I'll try to be a good person to you. But there have been things in my life where people have hurt me, and I think, yeah, I've forgiven them. But then when I think about them or I see their face, I just want to punch it. Like, you know, like somebody will mention their name and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's not, that wasn't forgiveness. Like, I forgave the act. And so when you and I were talking about this, you mentioned Lisa Turkhurst, who provided, and it's funny because as you were talking about it, I was like, I heard
It's coming
this
back to you.
message.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, it was a reminder that you can forgive. You were saying, like, she was talking about you can forgive the initial act,
Mhm.
but there will be repercussions
Yeah.
from that show up in your life.
Sure.
So there will be little triggers like their face that you'll be like thrown off,
Yeah. Like you're
and
walking fine and all of a
we'll give you that
sudden
emotion.
this situation happens and it brings that memory back and then you feel that hurt all over again.
Yeah.
So Lisa was the speaker Thursday night who talked about forgiveness and
Hmm.
she said like so Lisa Turkis was the first night of the women's conference talking about forgiveness and she said something interesting that you have the initial act of, betrayal, hurt, whatever happened that you have to forgive.
Yeah.
But then as you go through life, and this could be weeks, this could be years, this could be a lifetime, but there's going to be triggers that come up that take you back to that moment and feeling the pain of that moment. She was calling them like the impacts of that situation that you're still going to have to forgive. So you might be walking around forever still having that something happens and it brings all those emotions back up and you have to go back to I need to forgive that again,
Mm.
even though you did the initial forgiveness. So, I think when we have those moments, sometimes the hurt comes back and we're like, I thought I forgave that person. I thought I
Right.
moved on. But sometimes it's just another like, this was an impact of their decision and now I have to forgive this too.
And I think that's what I was dealing with, like, in many years ago when we took that class, is like, when they said forgiveness, I was like, well, yeah, I did forgive that person. Like, but then I see them and I see their face and I'm like, I just want to punch that face. Or there will be times where it's like somebody, like, I've I've said I forgive them and I want the best for them and I want them to thrive, and I sincerely do, but then somebody will actually tell me that they're thriving and I'm like, blah, like, I'm like, nah. So there's that,
Yeah.
again, that struggle inside of yourself that you're like, I do want this for them, but it's because when I see them or I hear about them or something, it brings up again
Yeah. It's bringing up
the
the
hurt and the
hurt.
anger
Yeah.
and the just sadness that I feel.
Yeah.
So then I'm like,
And we want justice,
yeah. So then I go back into like just feeling like the person who got hurt again.
Yeah.
So then you're like, okay, I have to once again
Hmm.
die to something. Like, it's just, it's always so exhausting to be on a continual process. And like, if it was easy, everybody would do it, right?
You're right.
Um,
We're called to, live above, and it's a cross to carry. It's hard. It's a sacrifice you have to make where we always talk about dying to ourselves, and this
yeah,
is a part of it. It's again forgiving when we feel it's undeserved because we've been forgiven, and
yeah,
it's definitely undeserved.
definitely. And then like, you just think also, I just want to make sure everybody knows that like, when you are hurt, there's justification in that hurt. Like, you are hurt.
It's okay to
That
feel
emotion is
the
there.
pain, yeah, and to be
We're
upset
not
and
saying like you shouldn't feel
right.
that, but you shouldn't act in that.
Yeah.
You
Like,
shouldn't.
where should you take those emotions?
Yeah.
Take them to God and let Him heal your
Mhm.
heart, especially when you don't get an apology.
So something I was thinking about is, forgiveness was the last thing that or Jesus asked for.
Hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
interesting in the way that he did that, right?
Hmm.
He asked God the Father to forgive us, or forgive them, the people who, well,
Yeah.
us and
Yeah.
everybody who was there, to forgive them for they don't know what they're doing. And then, but he was God, so he could have just said, I forgive them,
Mhm.
you know? So I think we're seeing there on the cross, like a human divine nature that are working it as one, you
Mhm.
know? You have the human nature. He's like admitting, like, this is wrong and it's hurting. It's hurting me. And then he is stating forgiveness and he's directing it, that God direct that forgiveness.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of how it needs to be with us. Like, in this moment, I cannot
Yeah.
forgive you in my own,
Yeah.
like, I think of like the little things in life. Like, so our computer died while we were filming halfway through, and I had to go get the power cord from our house. So I go up to our house and I pull into the driveway, and out comes a little critter from an open garage door.
The garage door wouldn't close. I tried probably 15 times
So
for the record.
it's just a little annoyance that happens.
And I had to forgive Dwayne for not bringing the power cord in the first place.
Stop making points over there. Let me finish mine.
Just points.
Hey, we never made that video of you dancing with a staff.
I don't have a staff.
You're over there shooting stars or something. But anyway, so like, it's just a typical annoyance.
Yeah.
But is that something that I need to like have help with forgiving you on? No, I mean, it's not.
Hopefully not.
It's just like a tiny annoyance. And I'm not going to stay up at night thinking, oh, how she did me wrong by keeping the garage door open. How am I going to get vengeance for the, like,
Right. Small thing.
but it's because I have love for you that outweighs what has been done.
Mhm.
And that's something like small and stupid. But even in our marriage, there have been like bigger things where, the love that I have for you is bigger than the offense that has been there. But like for some other people, the amount of love that I have isn't there to
So it
to
feels harder
provide that forgiveness. So
because yeah,
I need to draw on the love that God has
sure.
for everyone.
Yeah.
And I need to draw on that to extend through me that forgiveness. Like I have to understand that I am not there spiritually to forgive you in what you've done to me,
Yeah.
but I can allow God to work through me to extend that grace just as he has extended it to me.
And you have to look at too, like, is this person even a Christ follower? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what are your expectations of them? If they are a person who, is not familiar with Christ and hopefully walking in the fruit and in Holy Spirit, like there's probably more hurt coming from that person then,
Yeah.
and then you can't expect that level of, loving and forgiveness sometimes because they don't know better.
But our brains just don't like work that
No,
way. Like
no,
I'm not gonna be able to go
no.
down the road and be like, oh, that person. Like, I can forgive people for like cutting me off
Yeah.
or but then you have those crazy people out there who will like pull up on you and
Yeah.
like knock you out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, maybe they're loving,
Right. Yeah.
maybe the love they extend to anybody is like very low, but we, it's easy to say, oh, it's because they're not a Christian, but like for us to actually internalize that
Mhm.
into our hearts and into our minds for the feelings and the
Yeah.
emotions,
Yeah. It still hurts. Yeah.
it still hurts. So you have to be able to give that to God. Like you don't have to do it.
Yeah, and that was something Lisa talked about how she had a huge betrayal from her ex-husband, and it was like a whole crazy story, but she was meeting with a therapist then because this left her like in ruins basically. I mean, it was a huge trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And the therapist was like, you have to look at all of those impacts. And she said this prayer, and I wish I wrote it down. I think my sister did. I'll have to get it from her. But it was like, my emotions aren't ready to like fully forgive this right now, but God's grace can cover this. The blood of Jesus can cover this.
Right.
And she would just be reciting that as many times as that feeling came up. Like, God, help me to get over this, even though I'm still hurt, even though my emotions aren't right there yet. Help me, give me the grace to do this,
Yeah. I'm not speaking for Jesus on the cross or anything, but like you have to imagine like you're on that cross and you're doing this for these people and they're just like spitting at you. They're gambling for
Yeah.
your clothes. They're like, you know, saying, "Oh, come down from that cross if you." So the human side of him had to have been like just so angry,
Don't you
right?
think?
But then
Yeah.
like that's why he like called on God to forgive
Yeah.
because like that's what he needed. And then you just think like, oh, in my moments of need, like
Yeah.
I need to remember to draw on God for that.
Yeah. And because in that moment, like
Like he extended me grace.
him getting off the cross and striking all those people down would have been justified.
Yeah,
And he didn't.
because we need to allow. It says in the Bible, like you shouldn't take vengeance
Yeah.
in your own hands. You
Right.
give it up to God,
Yeah.
and God will.
Like let him be the
He'll deal
judge.
with
Let
those
him
people.
let him defend you. Yeah.
So it's not for me to deal with those people. It's not
Right.
for me to. It's for me to deal with the heart issue that I have in
Yeah.
the offense.
Yeah.
Like I need to work on the emotions that I have that come with that hurt, those traumas that have been placed on me, not at my own hand, but on others.
Right.
Like I need to be able to see that and to identify it as a time that when it comes up, like, this is an emotion that it's real. It's not something that I need to act in. And it's something that I need to give to God to help me divinely take over the situation because that's what he's there for. He's
Yeah.
there for you to call upon to help you in those situations where you can't do it on
It's
your
the
own.
supernatural. Yeah.
And there are things that are just so weighty on my heart that I thought, yeah, I definitely have this done. But then there are things in my life that I realize, like, and there are like some things in my life are directly from people or indirectly, like they don't realize that they've hurt
Yeah.
somebody who hurt me.
Yeah.
And now I'm like upset with somebody who doesn't even know me, you know?
Yeah.
It's just,
That's hard.
it's a hard thing to
Yeah.
go through. But then, like, I also want people to know, like, forgiving isn't just being a doormat for people.
No, it's okay to set those healthy boundaries. Maybe you need to like take space from this person if they're continually hurting you.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Like it says 70 times 7.
Mhm.
So it's like, like I always thought that like the same person comes up to me and is hurting me, and like, we had like the discussion just now where it's like, no, it could be that one person with like the offense that happened throughout
Mhm.
the years and stuff. And I can keep forgiving, but I think also it's good, and it says in Proverbs to guard your heart. And I
Yeah.
think in doing so, you have to put boundaries of those people who are hurting
Yeah.
you.
If it's someone who's costing you the peace,
Hmm.
like it's okay to take some space if you can.
Yeah.
But then we talked about too, Jamie and I, like, what if it's somebody close to you that you can't get away from? What if it's a spouse hurting you? What if it's a sibling? What if it's a parent? What do you do if it's someone who is hurting you and you
Yeah.
can't like take space from them because they're family or they're right in your face,
Yeah.
That's harder. Yeah.
And then guess that's the time that you give it to God. Like
Yeah.
I mean, us on this podcast, we're not gonna have the right answers for every situation.
We don't know everything, unfortunately.
But like, I don't know. I'd say just like give that to God to give you the strength to get through the situation,
Yeah.
to find the answers, to work on that relationship,
Yeah.
have the honest
And
communication.
that's what I was going to say. I think you have
But
to.
there's sometimes where you just don't want to have that communication because you feel like it will just open the wound even
Mhm.
worse.
Yeah.
Because, like, what would be so much worse is if you go up to that person and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Or
Or
they
they
try to
reject you. Yeah.
gaslight you on it or something, and then it just feels like
Yeah. And then you're like, I shouldn't have talked about it at
so
all.
much worse.
Yeah.
So I can just the situations fill them out. I don't know. But definitely bring it to God and see where he wants you to work at. I mean, you don't need an actual person to tell you
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. And I think part of it too is you have to be confident in who you are in Christ. So if there's someone, speaking negatively to you or making you feel bad, like if you're solid in this foundation, then you have a lot more to stand on,
Mhm.
Like even if it's rough over here, you're like, I know who God says I am. So if they're saying stuff about me, like whatever,
Yeah.
hopefully that's not happening. But
Yeah. I mean, that's like things for like, confidence and stuff, but like just those little things that like maybe don't devalue your self-worth, but like just hurt.
yeah, yeah. And I'm a feeler. So everything, like I take probably way too deeply all the time. Like
Mm.
if you give me a tone about something, then I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then I did.
I feel like you did.
Probably did.
I said something like jokingly, and the next thing I know, you get that like
That look.
that pale face with like just your red cheeks, which everybody says is
Are
just
my
your
cheeks
look.
red right now because I'm just
Yeah.
hot?
It's just like everybody will say, "Oh, that's just her look," but there's like a different pale face
Are you
with those
saying I'm
red
always
cheeks.
pale with red cheeks?
Anybody who knows you knows like you have a Sodmont cheek, which is red. But but like that face doesn't look like that. Like
Do you?
your mouth is curved down a little bit, and you're like, wait, your eyebrow. I think some people know the eyebrow, so that's the way you looked, and I was like, do anything. So I mean, I guess I could have said I'm sorry for whatever I
We probably did something.
hurt you on, but did I need to?
Here's what my dad always used to say: choose not to be offended.
Yeah,
Wise words.
yeah. So that's what I say to you.
So that's what I say to you also.
Oh my gosh, I never get offended.
Because I never do anything that causes offense.
Oh, now you got me somewhere, because if I mention something, you'd be like, oh, so you're holding on to that bitterness.
You can't say anything.
Oh, you tricked me. No, I think like, setting boundaries is definitely important.
Yeah.
And I think it's needed. And if it's in a situation where you have a marriage where it's like very, like you have to do life with this person
Yeah.
on a daily.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important that you remember in the daily prayer, it talks about forgive those.
You're right.
So you have to remember that you're going to forgive somebody daily.
Yeah.
But I'm also forgiving people for their trespass. Like, I'm forgiving them before they even do it to me that day.
Yes.
Like, I'm forgiving
That's what she said too.
the
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I remember. I
Oh,
listened to it.
yes.
So they forgive you. You are forgiving that person. So like, I know she said like, do you boo in the latte, whatever.
Wait, did you listen to the exact speech that I listened
No,
to?
I'm telling you, she was on a
Because
book
she
tour. So
said, "You
she
do you,
Okay,
boo."
guys. Lisa Turkis is famous, so she says
Okay.
she
I didn't know that was a
she will
tagline
do
of
this.
hers. Okay.
She'll do that. It's like a comedy sketch where they
Oh,
like do it
okay.
all the
Okay.
time.
I didn't know. I don't know her life. Okay. I know
I
she's
don't,
famous.
but guys, what got me to her a couple weeks ago is when I just started listening to more of her stuff. Like I read a book of hers, but she was on a program called, I may have
Didn't
mentioned it
we
a few
talk about
times.
this before?
It's called Better Together.
So we said it's like a Christian women
It's a
version of The View.
I wouldn't
Well, it's not
I
like
wouldn't I
political or
wouldn't
anything.
ruin these people's
It's okay. It's
reputation by
it's
saying
women
that.
around a table talking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they're not around a
Christian
table.
women
They're in nice comfy
in nice,
couch
comfy seats talking.
and in a circle. And they're also
So like a
happy
talk
and they
show.
pull out the Bible and
Okay.
they talk.
So
But
it's a
yeah, she
really
was on
nice.
it
Okay.
and she was talking about, I
Did
think
she
she was
say
talking
you
about
do you, boo?
forgiveness. She said that, but then I also watched, I think she spoke at Elevation Church too. That
Oh,
came up as like a YouTube video to watch. So
okay.
I watched that. So it's not another plug-in for Better Together on YouTube with
It sounds like a
these women,
plug-in.
but go watch it. You might like it. My gosh, why do we keep getting off topic?
Where are we going?
We're just saying how like you pray for people
Yes.
before the
She
offense
was like,
even
I
happens.
forgive people. So when she wakes up in the morning, she prays like, God, help me to forgive whatever's gonna come and make me unhappy this today, you
So
know?
maybe you pray for that, and that's how your mindset will be, is you'll
Yeah.
be in the realm of forgiveness. But then also we talk about in the same prayer it says, give me my daily bread. So it's like, give me my daily provision of what I need.
Right.
So like what I'm gonna go through that day, if it's gonna be,
God has it
somebody hurts
covered.
me, let me have that
Hmm.
provision to get through that moment.
Yeah.
With grace, with mercy, with love.
Hmm.
Let my love outweigh the offense that they've done to me.
Right.
So I think that's, I liked when she said that, is because it's a daily thing. It's telling you that this will be a continual process. So like I will probably,
And that it was important enough to mention in a daily prayer means like, this is definitely a big thing.
from God
Yep. Like you're gonna be dealing with this.
telling us.
It's important. Forgive, forgive, forgive.
Yeah. So yeah. Anything else you want to say about forgiveness?
I don't think so.
Oh wait, do you?
No.
You're just pursing your lips like
Mhm.
I got something to say. No, I kind of want to just end this on in Psalm 139, 23 through 24. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there's any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting.
That's what I was gonna say. It's at the bottom of my paper.
That's about my paper.
Search, yeah, ask God to search your heart to see, what am I still holding on to? What do I need to forgive?
Yeah. That's what I did when this came up a couple weeks ago when I listened to that sermon, and then the messages now, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is part of my obedience, is trying to figure out, there's still hurt that I'm holding on to, but then start speaking God into these situations, to speak the forgiveness that I clearly am struggling with, to allow God to walk me through the forgiveness that I need to provide in those moments of hurt, of when they come up. So I need to do that, and it started with me searching my heart and realizing that happened. And there's probably other things that are out there that I need to really think on and be like, oh, you know what? This emotion or this anger, whatever, is coming because it stems from this, and I need to forgive that situation, or, that person, or whatever happened, I need to forgive them. And then I'm excited. I'm excited to see the deliverance from those things.
Because the other side of this is freedom. It's releasing you from carrying this heavy thing and these bad feelings and the bitterness and the resentment and all these things,
Because holding on to these things isn't just like oh, it's going to make you spiritually so much free, and it will, but then I feel like
there's
just
a physical part
physically,
of it. Yeah.
like
It's heavy.
mentally, if you're holding on to these things mentally, it's gonna go into your physical body.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna feel good. You're gonna
And it does, like, I was holding on to something, like, for probably the past 2 weeks, and honestly, when I went to the women's conference, first of all, it felt like the whole schedule of it felt like a mess because I didn't wanna miss work, there's a lot going on there, and then we had, like, a Memorial Saturday, so I was missing that one, so I was like, "I don't even wanna go to this thing," and I was in, like, a bad mood Thursday night when I got there. Honestly, during worship, I, like, stood there and didn't sing at all. And I was like, "Steph, I know you're doing all the wrong things right now," but I was just, like, being salty and pouting, you know?
you have to go
And then
back
what
and
does
listen to
Lisa get up on the
podcast.
stage and talk about? Forgiveness. And I was like, "Okay, okay," you know?
I think it hits a lot of people.
Yeah.
I thought you were like looking like you were getting ready to like spit some like facts at me about why you were upset Thursday. And I was like getting a little worried. Let me tell you, Thursday night when you weren't home,
You did a lot Thursday night.
I was very angry.
I was glad I missed
So I
it.
just tell that story.
Go ahead.
So we have 4 kids, and then we have like the little baby. He's 7 months old.
Mhm.
I'm getting him down. He's crying, and just like whenever your baby's crying and you can't get the baby settled, like you just feel like a failure. I mean, that's how I feel every time. I feel like that way every time I parent. But so I have this little baby crying, and then I finally get him down, and that's like the greatest relief. And I walk upstairs, I put him in his crib, and I walk back downstairs, crawl into bed, and he starts crying. And I'm like, oh no, I have to start the process again. So I start walking upstairs. And as I'm walking upstairs, I'm like, guys, this is going to be a story about poop. So if you don't like
It's
stories
a
about
lot of
poop,
poop. It's a lot of poop.
shut this off now, and we hope to talk to you on Wednesday. But if you're still here, so it smells like poop, and I'm like, oh no, the dogs. So I start walking past the middle room, which is my oldest son's room, and it's smelling a little funky, but he's also a preteen, and that's just kind of
There's some funky smells.
He's a
starting
funky
to come.
smeller.
Yeah.
So I sniff in there, and I'm like, it might smell like poop. I don't know. So I wake him up and I say, hey, check your room for poop. And as I do that, I walk to the youngest, who's at the back of the house, and the smell got definitely stronger when I got to the bathroom. Surprise. So I get into the bathroom, I look in the toilet. A massive, just like probably a whole roll of toilet paper is sitting there
This is from our 4-year-old.
in the toilet.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
He did that to me just like 2 days before.
He did that to me the day before. That's why I was a little angry.
So it was
That's
like
why I was a little offended.
3 days in a row.
That's why I was like, angry. I was like, are you kidding me? I just told you to stop using so much toilet paper and to flush the toilet. And I flushed the toilet and all the paper went down. Thank God.
Thank God.
But a pile of what the smell was sitting there in the toilet. It was just stuck to the bowl.
It always is.
It was probably nasty.
Yeah.
So I get like the little brush thing and I'm like brushing it down, but it took me several flushes. Okay, so like just get in the picture, because you have to like flush and then, the bowl will fill up and then you get to flush again. So I had to do like 5 times so I could clean off the brush because it's so nasty, and I'm getting angry because the baby's still crying. So I'm overstimulated with the fact that I have this poop and I can still smell poop somewhere. And the baby is screaming, and I'm also screaming now because I'm like, Jack, why? And I look I knew it was him too, because there was a pair of Batman underwear in the trash. Even though I try to give those to Caden still when I wash laundry. Like a 10, almost 11-year-old is going to be wearing Batman still.
Underwear. Yeah.
But so I wake Jack up because I also forgot he needed thick underwear because he's been peeing in the bed. So I tell him, I yell in his room and he's still asleep, and he wakes up and he's just like,
You shouldn't have woken him up. I feel bad that you did that.
well, I didn't want to have to deal with the pee again.
I know.
So he like wake, and he's like walking back and forth in the hallway as I'm cleaning the brush off still. And
Looking for underwear? Like, why is he in the hallway?
Because he's dazed and confused. So I'm like, underwear. So he goes in and I must have found him because he went back to bed. So I was like, okay with that. And I went into his room to check on him, but then I got stopped. The front as soon as I entered, there were another pair of underwear that were soaking wet and had poop marks, but they weren't like, it wasn't like he pooped his pants.
So we don't know what happened in that bathroom.
It was just like a lot of poop marks on this underwear, but I was like, there's no way, because there's a whole roll of toilet paper in there. And I forgot to say this, there's also poop smeared on the, so I'm like, wow, we need to get him checked for bowels or something. Like, the amount of wipes is like a highlighter. Have you seen that on
He's
Parks and
4.
Recreation?
Yeah.
But so anyway, so like that happened. So I grabbed the underwear and I'm like, this is probably what's smelling. So I go to throw it downstairs into the trash can. So I'm walking downstairs, and by the way, Kane was like, there's no poop. I was like, keep checking. And I like walk down the stairs and I throw it away, and it smells so bad downstairs. And I look, and right beside our refrigerator is just shiny wetness, but it is diarrhea. And
From the dog, not from the 4-year-old.
I don't think so. And I about lost it. Like, I had to push the fridge away because the fridge, it was underneath
like,
the fridge.
runs
So
under
I
the
pushed it
fridge.
away and got it all. I was just so angry that night.
Yeah.
It
And I
just
was
so-
there
So
in
we
a
were
church
both on the
service.
same. So we both had to forgive. I had to
Yeah.
forgive the fact that my son is 4 years old, and apparently wiping his bum is a task that's crazy. And the dog just randomly diarrhea pooped somewhere because she went to the vet and she's fine. So I have no idea.
Yeah.
Just so angry. I don't know why I told you about the poop story. It was just a little bonus for you. So
But I think what started me talking about my bad mood at the conference, because we said unforgiveness can have like physical effects on you.
yeah, I threw up twice when I was playing.
The kids said, they were like, then we heard dad puking. I was like,
I
oh
had
my
to
gosh,
clean
I
up my
missed
throw up off the floor and the
I
diarrhea.
missed a wild ride
You
that
did.
night.
Oh, but then, so the baby was crying the whole time. But then after I was done doing that, God blessed me with the baby who was sleeping.
He cried himself to sleep. Poor little guy.
You could have looked at it like that, or you could have looked at it like I did. God blessed me
Okay.
in having a baby sleep.
It's a blessing.
But yeah, did you have more to say about
I don't remember.
your Thursday? Like, why were you upset? You don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to have a conversation tonight. It's part of that marriage prayer Bible study talk that we
But
talked
just
about.
because holding on to something like was changing my mood for like
Mhm.
2 weeks, and then affecting even the way that I'm worshiping God when he's worthy, and I knew I shouldn't be acting that way, so just to show holding on to something, giving the enemy a foothold, opening the door to him to just get in and mess with stuff.
Yeah.
Just like, it's not worth it.
Yeah. You
not
think
worth it.
forgiveness is gonna be for that person, but forgiveness is more for you.
Yeah. It's freedom for you.
Freedom for you. So just remember that today as you're keeping Psalm 139 in your head, as you
Yeah.
you search your heart, you have God search your heart, and you have him prompt things that you may thought you've forgiven, but you need to like work on it a little bit
Yeah.
with him, and to get him in the action of forgiveness, because that's the business he's in, right?
Yeah.
Forgiveness and redemption.
That's right.
So you'll forgive and he'll redeem you to a better state. That's all we have for you today. We're glad that you stopped in. We can't wait to talk to you next Wednesday. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks.